My goal this month was to finally finish my monthly TBR. I have done it before in previous months, but not for a long time. And I just want to complete a monthly TBR. So for the next week, I'm going to be exclusively reading my monthly TBR, and we are going to see if we can get through it. So for a little recap, let me tell you which books I put on my May TBR at the beginning of the month. I chose 6 books, and then we also had our book club book of the month, so like kind of 7, because I knew I wanted to read this month as well. So our book club book of the month was The Crimson Moth, and I have read that one. Then we also have Wild Love by Elsie Silver, which I've also read. We have Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. I've started this, but I haven't finished it yet. 28 Summers by Ellen Hildebrand. Haven't read this one yet. The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. I have read this one. Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. Have not read this. And The Tempest of Tea, which I also haven't read. So we're not doing awfully, but we're not doing great. I've read 3 out of 7 books. So that means we have 4 to finish. So these are going to be my priority reads for the next week. 28 Summers, Saving Six, The Tempest of Tea, and Say You Swear. And hopefully we can get through them all this week. I don't know if we will. Like, just being realistic, I don't know if I can get through these 4 books all in the next like 5-ish days before this video needs to go up, but we're gonna try our best. In saying that, I have actually started Saving Six, and I'm actually pretty far in. I'm reading it on my Kobo, and I think I'm about 70% of the way through, so this shouldn't take me too long to finish, and this is going to be the book I'm going to start with. So far, I am really enjoying it. This is the 3rd book in the Boys of Tommen series, if you haven't heard about it. The first 2 books are Binding and Keeping 13, and they follow Johnny and Shannon, and I read those ones last year and really enjoyed them, so I'm continuing the series, but this one follows a new couple. We're actually following Joey, who is Shannon's older brother, and his love interest. So really enjoying it so far. Definitely still very emotional, very heartbreaking. The characters are very flawed. It definitely reminds me a bit of like the Addicted Calloway sister series in that way, where you're just following a lot of characters that all have a lot of trauma, so it is hard to read from an emotional standpoint, and it's not like a literary masterpiece, but that's not why I'm going into this. Like, I'm just going into this series to feel connected with the characters and just to like see their journeys, because these characters feel so real. I don't know why. I wish I could explain it more. There's a lot of parts of this book that I don't necessarily like. Sometimes it's just really heavy topic matter. There's also a lot of just like crude language, I guess. But for some reason, all of the characters in these books just have my heart, and I just want to see them happy, and I'm hoping that we get a happy ending. So this is first up on the list. I'm in my favorite reading spot, my egg chair, and I am going to continue reading Saving Six by Chloe Walsh on my Kobo, because these books specifically, like the Boys of Tommen series, like, I'm sorry, but I'm not reading the physical copy. I'm not. They're way too thick for me to hold. And I'm in my e-reader era. Like, I just want to be reading everything on my Kobo or my Kindle at the moment, so definitely reading it on this. Apparently sorry, my Kobo says I'm 76% of the way through. I don't know like how to feel about it. Like, I'm excited to be finishing it soon, because I feel like I've been reading it for quite a while. This has been my before bed book. Often whatever I'm reading on like my Kindle or Kobo is my before bed book, because I feel like it's so much easier to read in bed on an e-reader. And also it's so easy to read these books. Like, they require no brain power. They are hard-hitting, like they are difficult to read sometimes emotionally, but they're not like a fantasy book where you really have to be thinking and remembering every little detail. There's no world building, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You already know all the characters by the time you get to Saving Six. Well, for the most part. So it's just like very easy to digest in terms of brain power. So that's why I've been reading it before bed. But in saying that, I have been staying up late reading like every night that I've been reading this, because it's so addictive. It is so addictive. I don't know what it is about these books, but I just don't ever want to put them down. And it's really bizarre, because I don't think they're great writing. I don't. Definitely doesn't mean it's a bad book though. There are a lot of books that I like that don't have good writing, or at least like I don't think it's like the most amazing writing I've ever read. Like, it's very like Wattpad-esque, but it's addictive. I really like can't wrap my head around my thoughts on these books, because there's a lot of things in these books that I don't like, but I can't stop reading them. Like, I don't know how to explain myself, but I'm just gonna sit here and read this book. So hopefully, I don't know, like part of me wants to finish it today. I don't know if I will. I don't have that many plans for the rest of the afternoon. It's like, maybe, we'll see. Life is good. A book, a snack, and an egg chair. What more could you ask for? My Kobo says I have 20 minutes left of the book, and it is so heartbreaking. Like, it's just so hard to read. One of our characters is just really going through it, and like, I knew this would be the case, but it just sucks watching someone just be so sad and so like, they're just a teenager and it feels like they have the responsibility of the world on their shoulders, and that's just like, they shouldn't have to feel like that, and they shouldn't have all of this weighing on them, and obviously you're seeing how it affects them, and it's just hard. However, one good thing about reading Saving Six, and I'm assuming Redeeming Six as well, is that because I've read Binding and Keeping 13, I know what the ending of Binding and Keeping 13 is, and I know that the characters will find happiness, and so knowing that and not just like being unsure of what's going to happen is really nice, because I'm like, yes, this sucks right now, but at least I know that there will be a happy ending. But yeah, right now I'm just like, I just want to get to that part, which I know won't happen in this book. Is that seriously how it ends? I'm filming a video where I'm obviously trying to read my TBR, and the next book is not on my TBR, but I want to read it so badly. Like, I'm just supposed to read a bunch of other books before I can go read the next book with that sort of ending. That's so unsatisfying. I mean, I'm glad I finished it, but I can't believe that's it. Like, I don't know what I expected. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be that satisfying since it's like a series, but I guess another one ticked off the TBR at least. Time to move Saving Six to the red pile, and next book on our list is A Tempest of Tea. I feel like I'm going in very blind to this book. I don't really know like that much about it at all. I know it's YA fantasy, but that's kind of it. I feel like I've heard people say it could be a little bit Six of Crows-esque, because I think it's like a bunch of, not criminals, but like people who like live on the streets and are just trying to like, you know, survive and will do whatever they need to survive. I think it's like a group of them complete a mission maybe. Again, I don't really know, but we'll see. Good morning, besties. Thought I would give you a reading update. Yes, I did get it on my Kindle because I just only want to read ebooks right now. I don't know why the thought of holding a physical book is so bad to me, but I did buy it on my Kindle. It was on sale. It was on sale. It was literally $6. I was like, fine, I'll do it. But honestly, I don't have that much to say yet. I am 10% in, and we've like barely kind of met the characters. All I really know is we're following, it seems like two main characters who kind of have like a sibling relationship. I think they're not like technically siblings, like more so adopted siblings or like found family vibes, but it's a sibling dynamic, and they run this tea house that turns into I forget the name of it, a blood house. Basically a bar for vampires at night, and it seems like the police of this world are trying to like catch them out, because I guess that's illegal. I don't really understand that part yet, but they keep failing. Like, no one seems to be able to catch them or like prove that they're running this illegal blood house thing, even though everyone kind of knows that they do. I don't know. It's good so far, but I just feel like I haven't read enough to really have a strong opinion on it yet, but I'm gonna go sit out in my egg chair and read a bit more now. Is it 7:30? Yes. Am I already in bed? Yes. Before dinner, I got up to 25% of this book. I honestly haven't read much today. I've just been distracted. It's not good, but I'm up to chapter 9, and I'm really enjoying how the book is like taking shape. So we have our two main characters, Arthi and Jin. Like I mentioned, sibling dynamic. They own the tea house, but there's an issue with the tea house, and it looks like they're gonna lose it. But then someone kind of comes to see them and is like, I think we could form an alliance if you help me do this thing. So now Arthi and Jin are forming this little crew of people who are all kind of like experts in their field, or like good at a very specific type of thing that will be helpful for this mission that they want to complete, which is just so much fun. It is definitely giving me like Six of Crow vibes in that way. Obviously very different vibes in the sense of like the world building and stuff, but just at the very core of having a group of individuals who are trying to complete a mission. I don't know if heist is the right word for this book. Like I don't really know what they're planning to do yet, but I don't know. I'm just really excited. It's shaping up to be really, really fun, but we'll see. I'm definitely getting like more into it as the book progresses. But I have been falling asleep so early for the past few nights. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just getting so tired. So I've taken myself to bed very early tonight in the hopes that I can just get a little bit more reading done before I fall asleep. So we'll see how that goes. Reading update. I am up to chapter 24, which is about 200 pages in, and this one is about 330 pages, so we're over halfway, and I'm just loving it. Like, it is so good. I love that there is a really clear mission that our characters are working towards, and there are things that they have to do before the bigger mission in order to complete the bigger mission, which is just really fun. Like, it's just very well structured in my opinion. Like, I really love it when you just know why characters are doing certain things and it all just makes sense and kind of like falls in line. So for example, they're breaking into this very prestigious, like high security situation, and so in order to do that they need to get like basically a pass that only very few people have, so then they have to go and steal that from someone in order to get to the later mission. So there are all these like little mini missions that lead up to the bigger mission, and I think that is just really fun because there's always something happening, and we also get all of these different dynamics within the characters. So there's a group of 5 main characters, I guess, who are all part of this little crew who are doing this mission, but they kind of break up into smaller groups in order to do other things to prepare, and it's just so fun seeing those different dynamics. There's also some romance kind of dynamics happening, and the tension in this book is so good. I'm really liking the like romantic tension that we're getting between some of the characters. There's just like so much fun. There's lots of secrets and lots of like, you can see something's happening but you don't understand the full picture yet, but hopefully that will be revealed later. All of our characters have really well developed stories in my opinion. Like, I know who all of them are, I know their personalities, they all have layers to them, they all have depth to them, and they all come from different situations, and I'm just so impressed. Like to be honest, this book feels like it is like 500 pages long. Like, I feel like so much has already happened in the first 200 pages. Like, I feel like I know our characters so well, I feel like I know the world so well, I understand what's going on, but it feels like I've read a lot more than 200 pages. Like, I can't believe this book is this small for what is like happening. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. The only like criticism that I have isn't necessarily even towards the book, it's just about myself, and it is just that I cannot seem to concentrate. I don't know what's going on. I just can't seem to just concentrate. I just have so many things on my mind at the moment. I think it's just because I've got a lot of things that I need to be doing, and even when I am sitting down to read because I can and I have the time, I'm just thinking about the things that I need to be doing, and it's really frustrating me because I feel like it's taking away from this book and from this reading experience, even though it's not the book's fault. But I also am loving the book so much that I'm like, why am I not like so immersed in it? I don't know if I'm just a bit slumpy or like what the situation is, but that's just my feelings and thoughts so far. But yeah, I'm obsessed. I don't know if this is supposed to be a series or a standalone, because I had a moment when I was reading just before and I was like, wait a second, what if this is the first book in a series and I'm gonna end with a cliffhanger? Because as far as I know, I think this one came out not that long ago. Yeah, 2024. So if this is the start of a new series and I end with a cliffhanger, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed, not even at the book but at myself for not researching that. Should I? No, I think I'll just go in blindly to the end and we'll see if it ends up being a standalone or not. Watch me get so annoyed. I feel like it might be a series. There's a lot happening. No, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I put on some fake tan like an hour ago, so I'm in my very like daggy clothes and like, just ignore. I'm about 80% of the way through, so I think I have about like 50-ish pages left, and it's just so good. I was not expecting the plot to kind of unfold the way that it has. I thought there would be more emphasis on something, but they've kind of moved on from that, and now it's kind of turning into something else, which is really fun. And there's also been a few little twists that I really didn't guess, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because they just gave me such like a fun little surprise. But it's just so much fun. Like, this is just so good. Again, can't believe she packed this much into 330 pages. Like, so much has been happening. I finished A Tempest of Tea. I think it's gonna be a series. Ooh. The ending, I don't even like know what to make of it. Like, I'm really like, what just happened at the end there? Yeah, I don't know. It definitely left on a cliffhanger, definitely left with some unanswered questions. I feel like it was a really good, not like standalone, but it did what it needed to do, and it answered a lot of questions that we had at the beginning of this book, but then just created more questions for what I assume will be another book. And I feel like it's created storylines for multiple characters in the next book, not just just like one. I'm really excited to continue this series whenever, like I have no idea when the next book is gonna come out. Like I'm sure it will be a while, but I really liked this. Don't know a rating yet. Maybe I'll just kind of sit on it for a bit. It's definitely in the 4-star realm. I don't know if it's like 4.25, 4.5, probably around there, but it was really good and I had so much fun. Guys, look how good our pile is getting. This is our read pile and this is our unread pile. So we have Say You Swear and 28 Summers. These are the only two we have left. I think I'm gonna go with Say You Swear next. I'm really intrigued. I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I've heard extremely mixed reviews. I've heard some people give it 5 stars. I've seen some people DNF it, and I have no idea where I'm gonna sit on that spectrum. I'm going into this book expecting cringy college romance because I'm pretty sure it's like college age kids, friend group, brother's best friend, football players. I think that's the vibe. And look, obviously I could be completely wrong, but I'm going in with the expectation that it's just gonna be like a silly, goofy time. Like I'm not expecting to think this is gonna be a literary masterpiece or incredible writing, incredible emotional depth, you know? Like I'm expecting it to be just like kind of trashy but in a fun way. I'm not sure if I'm gonna enjoy that. Sometimes that hits and sometimes it doesn't. Even like Binding Keeping 13, I wouldn't call them trashy because they have a lot of emotional depth, but they're not like the most amazing writing, you know? But then you have books like Paper Princess, which is so trashy that it's so entertaining but also like not necessarily good. You know, I'm just, maybe this will be incredible writing, maybe there'll be a lot of emotional depth, maybe it'll break my heart. Like I really have no idea. I haven't looked into this book much at all. I don't know. I'm gonna start reading and I guess we will find out. Oh my gosh, it's over 500 pages. It's the next day. I honestly don't know how much time I'm gonna have to read today because I'm kind of just like out and about everywhere. But last night I did read a chunk. I got up to page 155 and I thought I would give you my thoughts so far. Honestly, I don't know what to think about this. I don't think I hate it, but I don't think I love it, and I'm not really sure how to describe how I'm feeling. I feel quite indifferent towards it currently. I don't dislike it enough to like DNF it, at least at this point. It is very frustrating in some parts, and it's definitely like not my favorite type of book and feels very cringy a lot of the time. However, now that I've read 150 pages, I think I've kind of wrapped my head around like what this book is really about. So we're following Ariana. She has this friend group that she's had pretty much her whole life. So in this friend group, it's Ariana, her brother's 2 best friends, and then Ariana's best friend. So there's 5 of them, 2 girls, 3 boys, and they have literally known each other pretty much their entire lives. And apparently Ariana has just been in love with her brother's best friend Chase pretty much since she was a teenager, I guess, like since she was maybe like 13 or 14 or something like that, maybe longer. But the book starts with this friend group going off to their like family vacation home. They have this like beach house that their parents all collectively own and for some reason gave to the teenagers. Like these teenagers own this house, all 5 of them, like an equal split, which is very bizarre, but okay. Would love if my parents gave me a beach house. But this is their first time kind of just like spending summer alone, no adults, and they've just graduated high school. They're about to go to college. Also, they're all going to the exact same college. And so that's kind of the dynamic. Obviously, like I said, Ariana has this huge crush on Chase, but nothing has ever really happened because they made this like friend zone pact basically where they were like, so that no one ever ruins this friendship group, no one is allowed to date anyone, which I understand, but it's also just like she's had a crush on him for what, like 6 years or something, she said, and it seems like he's interested as well, but the only reason they're not doing anything about it is because basically her big brother is like, I'll kill you, Chase, if you touch my sister. Also, the big brother, terrifying, so overprotective, but like not in a nice way, like in a you're creepy. Like, why are you so obsessed with no one touching your sister, going near your sister? Like, why does he act like her dad? Like, it's just a little bit bizarre. And they're also twins, by the way, the brother and the sister. So I really don't like the brother because he just seems like obsessed and very controlling. And like Ariana doesn't seem to like even care. Like, she's just like, oh, he's just my big brother. And I'm like, no, he's literally so controlling and weird. But apparently she doesn't care. Also, like, the way they talk to each other, very cringy. Like, all of them, how they interact. Like, I don't know how to even explain it. I wish I could find some examples. It's a lot of just like, I don't know, just cringy cringe to me. However, the premise of this book is that she's been in love with Chase her whole life, but then during this summer, she meets this new guy who also happens to go to the college that she is now going to. So we start off like during the summer, but now when I'm reading it, we're like at college, and this other new guy is also at the same college. Wow, like crazy. Like, they all just happen to be at the same beach together and then happen to be at the same college together. So convenient. Anyway, so now she's kind of like exploring things with this new guy, because she's like, well, it's never gonna happen with Chase, even though it's so obvious that Chase is so obsessed with her as well. I think the main reason I'm still reading is because I'm like, who is she gonna end up with? I really don't know. Chase does not give me good vibes at all. Like, I don't like him, and I think I'm supposed to. I think he's supposed to be like the bad boy in this situation, and then I think this new guy, Noah, is supposed to probably be like the safe, stable, smart choice, and then she's probably gonna end up with Chase, the bad boy. Like, what should be the bad boy? Which I'm not rooting for him, but maybe I'll change my mind. I just feel like it's just like giving that classic, I shouldn't want the bad boy, I should want the really nice guy who actually treats me right, but I'm gonna go for the bad boy anyway. Like, why is that gonna happen? It's gonna happen, isn't it? But I'm also like, you're telling me I have 350 pages still to go. I'm 150 pages in, and literally what has happened? It's crazy going from the last book to this one, because obviously in The Tempest of Tea, that whole thing was 330 pages. So if I was reading that, I'd almost be halfway through the book at this point. 150 pages in, I'd almost be halfway. And there was so much that had happened 150 pages into A Tempest of Tea. It was like they had this mission and they were gonna lose their like prized possession, and you got to know each character so in depth, and they all had these backstories, and then they all were getting together to complete this mission, and they had to complete all these other missions in between. Like, there was so much happening. 150 pages into, I know that I shouldn't be comparing like fantasy with romance, obviously, especially like a silly, goofy college romance. I think it's just a bit of whiplash going from that to this, where it's like, oh, we're 150 pages in. I know that she likes Chase, and now she kind of likes Noah, and Noah seems really nice and Chase doesn't, and they went to the beach and now they're in college. Like, that's what I know. I don't know. I'm gonna take it with me while I'm out today, and we're gonna see if I have a chance to read it, but I'm not gonna like rely on that. But we'll see. I'll update you guys later. I feel like I really just bashed on this book. I'm not hating it. I'm really not. Like, it's probably around 3 stars at the moment. Like, it's actually like fine. There's just a lot that I don't love about it, but it is entertaining. It is. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need a silly, goofy romance that is just entertaining. Even if it's not really that good, it still hits the spot. I don't know why, but the nickname Juliet just cringes me out. It does. I don't know why, but every time he says it, I'm just like, bit of an ick. Again, don't know why. Just is how it is. I've just read a little bit more. I think I'm officially halfway now. Like page 250 something. I don't really know what to say. One character is definitely like growing on me, and one character is really annoying me. I still just have no idea what's gonna happen in this and like how it's gonna end, but I will be angry if she ends up with one of the guys. Like, I will be throwing the book, so we'll see. I still can't tell if I like it or not. I think I'm just reading it because I want to know who she ends up with. I don't know if I like care about each like scene, you know what I mean? Like, they're on a camping trip and I like do not care at all. I'm just reading to get to the end, I feel like, which is probably not like the best way to do it, but at the same time it's keeping my interest, so I guess that's good. I don't know, I feel very weird about this book because I just like can't seem to decide if I like it or if I don't. I wish I could explain my thoughts better. Oh, you can see reading day every night. Reading day every night. I read, you read, we all read. Every time I start to think, maybe I'm enjoying this, like maybe this is a good time, it just cringes me out. I just read a line and I physically was like, I had to like put the book down for a second. I'm like, why? It's just not hitting. What on earth is happening in this book? And it was just like plot twist right in your face. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, did I even read that? What? Like, it feels like this author is just like, let me just chuck in all the trauma I can find. Just, why not? Like, what do you mean? Like, it's actually just a bit ridiculous. We need to talk. We need to talk because last night, as you guys saw, I finished this book. What is this? What? It's now like 4 p.m. the next day, and all day I've just had moments where I just like think back to what was happening in this book, specifically in the last like 150 pages, and I'm just like, what? What? I woke up this morning, I was like in my pajamas. I send a video message to my group chat of my girlies and I full on tell them the entire plot of this book start to finish because I just needed to talk to someone about this, and I was like, you guys will not believe the plot of this book. Talk to them through each character's name, the connections between each character, the love story, the plot points, the trauma, all of it. I told them everything that happened because I was like, I cannot believe what this book was. And at the start, like, I feel like for like this much of the book, I was like, oh yeah, like college romance, silly goofy time, like not the best writing, but it's okay, you know, like it's alright. We're just here for the vibes. And then we get to that last like 150 pages and suddenly it's just like bam, 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 trauma, 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 plot twist. Here's the most traumatic thing I could possibly do to the character, and let's just do that 3 times. What? Like, it got to the point where it just felt so ridiculous that I wasn't, like, there were very sad things happening, but I just, like, couldn't feel sad for the characters because I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is so outlandish that it's just, I have no feelings attached to this anymore because the only feeling I feel is shock. It felt like constant whiplash. I'm so glad that I didn't DNF this book because I think if I had missed out on this last part of the, like, it was the most entertaining. Oh, it was really sad. It was really sad, the last little bit of it. But like I said, not even sad because it was just too ridiculous. Does that make sense? If you've read this book, you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't read this book, I'm so sorry, but obviously it's like so spoilery for me to actually talk about what happened, so I can't do that. I will say though, one of the boy characters in this book, I feel so bad for him because he just was nothing but sweet and kind and patient for the most part. Like, I mean, he got, a tiny bit jealous at one point, but that's probably it. And he just had pretty much every bad thing that could happen to him happened all at once. All in the space of like, I don't even know, maybe 2 months. It was a lot. It was a lot. Do I recommend this book? Not really. If you want to read something that's just like extremely entertaining but also very sad and like a lot of like trigger warnings, honestly, like if you want to just read something that's really ridiculous and really just like almost a bit like Colleen Hoover vibes where it's just like how much trauma can I put in one book, like if you want to read that, please go ahead, like be my guest. But for the most part, it's not something I would go out of my way to recommend because it wasn't great writing. I don't think it was a great plot because it was just too ridiculous. And again, just the whiplash of the last 150 pages just felt so like, where did this come from? That it was just crazy to me. And I just personally think that there are other books out there that are probably more worth your time. Obviously, this is very subjective. I know a lot of people who have given this book 5 stars, and I'm not trying to take away from that experience because if you had a really great connection to this book, I'm honestly jealous. Like, I wish I could have liked it more than I did, but obviously some people love books, some people don't. A lot of people hate the Magnolia Park series and I absolutely love it. So it's just how it works, you know? And so in saying that, I am giving it 2 stars. I am, because I it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea, and that's okay. I always get really scared talking about books that I didn't like and like giving books like bad ratings online because people get upset about it and they give me hate for it. But I'm just trying to be honest. Like, I'm gonna rate books how I feel they should be rated, and I hope that all of you guys rate books how you want them to be rated and how they feel to you. There's no right or wrong here, guys. It's just different opinions, and I'm glad that we have different opinions, and I'm so glad that there are some people out there that enjoyed this book, but it just wasn't a favorite for me, and that's okay. But that brings us to the end of today's video. Honestly, because I've just run out of time, I need to get this video up for you guys. We had one book on our TBR that we didn't get to. I am hoping I'm still going to be able to read this before the month is over, because I think I'm filming this on the 23rd, so I still have about a week. So I'm hoping I can still get to this. If I had a few more days, I would have read it in this video, but it's upload day, so I need to get this sorted for you guys. But our monthly TBR is looking pretty good. Like, I'm really proud of the progress that we've made all month, but specifically this week. We managed to finish 3 books from the TBR. We finished Saving Six, A Tempest of Tea, and Say You Swear. I really enjoyed Saving Six. I really enjoyed A Tempest of Tea, and I really didn't enjoy Say You Swear. So we definitely had a range of ratings this week, but overall I had a lot of fun. Even Say You Swear, which wasn't my favorite, it was such an interesting reading experience, and I'm glad I read it, honestly, because it just made me feel a lot of things, and I love it when books make me feel things, even if they don't end up being favorites. I'd rather feel something than feel nothing at all, you know? But I'm gonna end off this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed spending the week with me and reading with me. This was so much fun. I don't think I even mentioned this, but I got this idea from bestie Des. Shout out Destiny. I don't know if other people have done it prior. Destiny is just the one that I saw do this. I'll leave her video link down below if you want to see someone else do this little trying to finish their monthly TBR situation. And I will see you guys in a few days with my June TBR. Crazy. Goodbye.